Adams has a 4 ERA and more than 60 strikeouts this year. Vandy faced Adams last year. In fact, he started the famous Holcomb walk-off homer game against Alabama. But Adams was great at Hawkins Field in 25, 6 innings, and just 2 runs. It'll be tricky again. Well, Vandy counters with Aiden Stillman. The freshman from Florida is making his 3rd career starts. He was great last week versus Texas, went about 4 innings, and helped the Doors shut out the Horns 6-0. Vandy looks for more Stillman magic today. Well, First Bank makes being a super fan super easy with exclusive Vanderbilt debit cards. Bank on the Doors every time you pay. First Bank, bank local, get more. Member FDIC. Plus, Conecuh sausage is hickory smoked for that true southern flavor. Conecuh sausage is great on the grill, the official smoked sausage of the Vanderbilt Commodores. Coming up on the First Bank pregame show, we'll run down the starting lineups. And next, we talk with head coach Tim Corbin. But first, let's learn something new. It's Did You Know with Andrew Marinus.
Of course, Nashville is Music City, so on today's edition of Did You Know, let's talk about some of the connections between Commodore football and music. Back in 1934, infamous Louisiana politician Huey Long arranged for 5,000 LSU fans to travel by train to Nashville for an October 27th game against the Commodores. Long was so smitten by the Vanderbilt women he met on the trip north that he composed a song in their honor titled Miss Vandy. The sheet music for the song was printed in black and gold and adorned with a photo of Lucy Ann McGugan, daughter of Commodore coach Dan McGugan. 4 years later, in the fall of 1938, Vanderbilt alum Francis Craig wrote a song familiar to the ears of all Commodore fans, our fight song, Dynamite. Only it wasn't called that then. Here's how the Vanderbilt Hustler introduced the song. Quote, composed on Wednesday night, introduced on the Air Castle of the South on Friday night, given to the world over NBC by the Vanderbilt Band at the Tennessee game, and again Saturday night when played by composer Francis Craig and his orchestra. This is the thumbnail history today to Vanderbilt's new march, When Vandy Starts to Fight. Dynamite, music to our ears ever since. I'm Andrew Marinus, and that's Did You Know?
You can't always predict what's next, but you can be ready for it in a BMW SUV. The performance-driven X1 comes built for every journey, while the X3's sporty design and innovative technology keep your drive connected. The X5 blends performance with a commanding presence, or make it even bigger with 3 rows of luxurious seating in the X7. For every road, there's an X built to drive it. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Take advantage of exceptional lease offers today.
The Eagles present The Long Goodbye, Act 3, live in concert in Nashville. With special guest, Tedeschi Trucks Band. First Bank Stadium at Vanderbilt, Saturday, May 9th. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The Eagles, The Long Goodbye, Act 3. For more, visit eagles.com.
It's time for our pre-game conversation with head coach Tim Corbin.
He's a perfect fit for what we're trying to achieve here. Everything about it felt like home to me.
Coach Corbin's comments are brought to you by First Bank. Bank on the Doors every time you pay with the exclusive Vanderbilt debit cards. First Bank. Bank local. Get more. Member FDIC. With Coach Corbin, here's Andrew Allegretta.
Getting set for first pitch. Vanderbilt versus Alabama, Game 2. Coach, it's a bounce-back opportunity for Vanderbilt here today. You guys have found success in bounce-back chances each of the past 2 weeks. What was present versus Kentucky? What was present versus Texas? That must be present once again here today for Vanderbilt versus Alabama.
You just got to play forward. I mean, I think regardless of the emotions of any game, whether you win like we did at Tennessee or lose in a style like Texas or Kentucky, you just got to go forward. I mean, you just got to pick up and move forward.
Always curious your perspective when guys are playing forward like a Riker Wade at the moment. Another successful day for him yesterday, again at the top of the order for you. We talked about him a bit yesterday, but what have you continue to see with him and his presence at the plate?
That's what it is. I mean, I think he concentrates really well. He focuses really well. I told you yesterday, I think he elevates and rises when you put him in situations. He doesn't disappoint because you know what you're getting from a kid, which really when you look at players, whether it's in any sport, The consistency piece is very tough to come by. I mean, I think that's probably life too. It's like you find consistent people because consistent people typically create consistent results, but you know that they're present and you know they're here. And Riker's just one of those kids. He does it defensively and certainly has done it offensively too. And I still think he continues to improve. We talked about him a little bit, how we got him yesterday and how we acquired him. But he is one of those kids that, from an offensive standpoint, he was very youthful coming in, and he continues to really learn the game. And I think you're going to see he's a little hydrant. You know, he produces power, he can short game, but strike management has been the key for him as he goes forward.
The hidden ball trick was a fun moment from yesterday. Just tell us how that even comes to be, the practice that you guys do in training, and how perhaps that moment happens in a game.
Yeah, it's select times, maybe have one a year or two a year at the most, but I think we talk about it during the course of the fall. We talk about how it evolves. We talk about how the pitcher has to be a participant because he can't be on the mound. He has to be off the dirt. So he has to be aware of it. You have to have some savvy, but Brody was looking for that opportunity. Ty talked to Brody about it, not just yesterday, but before too. And I think the biggest thing is the fact that he just found the right time to do it. And it's typically after a double, after a triple, a moment where the bench and the player have each other's attention to where they lose attention of where the ball is. And you know, it's kind of, and I'm not knocking that kid, but it's stepping off the base before you know where the ball is, and that's it's a bad feeling for that base runner, and it's a good feeling for the defense, and we needed it. It was certainly an uplifting moment at the time.
Let's turn the page again. Let's talk about today, Vanderbilt versus Alabama, Game 2. Aiden Stillman gets the baseball for you guys. What was so successful? What did he have versus Texas, again, that he must take with him versus Alabama today?
Strikes, fastball strikes first. I think that's paramount, and then landing the breaking ball. If he lands the breaking ball, then he's pretty good because the breaking ball is hard, fastball is certainly hard, and when he's decelerating the ball for strikes, that's when he becomes more of a problem. When he's not, then he becomes predictable like any pitcher. But I think for him, there's more comfort in what he's doing. We talked about Riker, and Riker and he are best friends. So this kid doesn't float too far away from Riker's mentality. I mean, usually people that are like-minded kind of get together, and he's one of those kids that knows what he wants to accomplish, and he can execute it. He also has high awareness of what he can't do well, and what he can't do well he really works on. So I like this kid a lot. He's very steady.
And just a quick thought on their starter, Zane Adams, somebody that Vanderbilt saw a season ago, but very steady, about a 4 ERA.
Yeah, I mean, we saw him last year. He's steady, too, now. He's a left-handed pitcher that he can throw on the high side, 95, but he's typically about 91 to 93. He's going to try to make you chase downstairs, but he's got enough fastball to get it by you. He also has a breaking ball, and change is probably his third pitch, but he's a guy who moves the ball pretty well. He's been steady for them. I think, one of the big part of Rob's team is the fact that they've had three solid starters that haven't really deviated too much. Fay was last year, Adams was last year, so we see those guys again. So we're going to have to do good work against this guy in order to beat him.
Coach, best of luck.
Thanks, Andrew.
Back after this.
This is the Commodore Quiz. Today's question: who holds the Vanderbilt baseball record for career stolen bases?
He is safe. Instant record, 97 career stolen bases. The fastest man in college baseball is now the fastest man in Vandy boys history.
The answer: Enrique Bradfield Jr. From Hialeah, Florida, the center fielder finished his Vanderbilt career with 130 stolen bases, also one of the top totals in the history of SEC baseball. The record-breaking steal came on February 26, 2023 against UCLA. His 97th career steal broke the 41-year record held by Charles DeFrance. Bradfield was a game-changing player for Vanderbilt. His 47 steals and Gold Glove defense helped Vandy reach the College World Series Finals in 21 and earned him SEC Freshman of the Year. In 23, Bradfield continued to play some of the best outfield defense the league has ever seen, swiped 37 bags, and finished with 34 RBIs and 13 doubles. Vandy won the SEC championship to cap Bradfield's historic career. Enrique Bradfield Jr., Vanderbilt baseball's career stolen base record with 130. This has been the Commodore Quiz.
Yeah, it's another day, but what kind of day is it really? A day of doom scrolling? Laundry day? Nah, it's a White Claw day. Because all that can wait. Your friends shouldn't. There are good stories to be made. So grab a pack, grab your friends. Make the most of each day with those who matter most. When you're together with White Claw, every day is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You just gotta grab it. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois.
When a car or truck wreck turns your world upside down, you shouldn't have to face the insurance companies alone. At Ponce Law, our experienced Tennessee personal injury attorneys are here to fight for every dollar you deserve. With over 30 years serving injured victims across Tennessee. And here's the best part. You pay nothing unless we win your case. Call Ponce Law 24/7 at 615-851-1776 or visit PonceLaw.com for your free consultation, because justice should never wait.
Welcome to Vanderbilt Baseball.
All third strike outside corner. That is going to do it.
Welcome to the show.
If maturity grows, so does an organization.
To Tuscaloosa. We're live from the campus of the University of Alabama and Sewell Thomas Stadium. Ready for first pitch, game 2 of a critical weekend between Vandy and Alabama. Heartbreak in game 1 with a walk-off homer for the tie. But the Doors have been here before versus Kentucky. Can Vanderbilt respond like they did in Lexington? Well, time for the starting lineups presented by Martin & Zerfas. To lead things off for Vanderbilt with 27 victories this season, Riker Waite, the shortstop, the sophomore out of Arizona. Batting second, Mike Mancini, second baseman, the senior from New York. Batting third, Brody Johnston, third baseman, the sophomore out of Tennessee. Batting fourth, Brandon Holcomb, left fielder, the junior from Florida. Batting fifth, Logan Johnstone, right fielder, the graduate student from California. Batting sixth is Colin Barzy, the DH, a junior from Illinois. Batting seventh is Rustin Rigdon, center fielder, sophomore out of Georgia. Batting eighth is Tommy Gooden, first baseman, the sophomore from California. And batting ninth for Vanderbilt is Corbin Reynolds, the catcher, the freshman out of Tennessee. And Vanderbilt's starting pitcher, Aiden Stillman, the freshman from Florida. Now for Alabama. Ranked number 24 in the country with 30 victories this season. To lead things off, it's Justin LeBron, the shortstop, the junior from Florida. Batting second, Brady Neal, the catcher, a senior from Florida. Batting third, Bryce Fowler, a center fielder, the senior from Mississippi. Batting fourth is Eric Hines, left fielder, a freshman from Alabama. Batting fifth is the DH, John Lim, a senior out of Australia. Batting sixth is Jason Torres, the third baseman, a senior from Florida. Batting seventh, Luke Vaughn, first baseman, a junior from Ohio. Batting eighth is Peyton Steele, right fielder, a sophomore from Alabama. And batting ninth is Brennan Holt, second baseman, a graduate student out of Louisiana. And today's starting pitcher for Alabama is Zane Adams, a junior from Texas. Those are today's starting lineups presented by Martin & Zerfas. Contact Martin & Zerfas for solutions to your insurance, risk management, and group benefit needs. Martin & Zerfas, insuring Vandy fans since 1978. So Riker Waite to lead things off here for Vanderbilt, top of the first inning. Waite, Mancini, and Johnston. 1-2-3. Left versus right, first pitch by Adams. There's a fastball for a strike. No balls, one strike. It's a fastball, changeup, slider, and a curveball mix for Zane Adams. A 6'4" junior out of Porter, Texas. No balls, one strike as Adams throws. Swing and a miss. No balls, two strikes on Riker. Well, 63 strikeouts this season for Zane Adams. A 4.10 ERA. Has 4 victories coupled with 3 losses. The 0-2. Breaking ball spikes in front of home plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 12th start of the season for Adams. 2 for 4 yesterday for Riker. Picked up a double for Vanderbilt. Batting .307, 5 home runs, 33 RBIs. Adams takes a second to adjust his pitch com. Wedged in his cap. It's the crimson uniforms here today for Alabama. Vanderbilt goes with the all-black uniforms and gold pins. Overcast skies, temperatures in the 60s. 1 ball, 2 strikes as Adams kicks and throws. That's swung on. There's a tapper toward third, played by Torres. Throws to first base, 5-3. Here's your first out of the top of the first inning. That brings us to Mike Mancini. Two for 4 yesterday for Mancini. Left versus left. One of the best hitters in the Southeastern Conference, has 9 home runs in conference play. That's good for second most, just behind Aiden Robbins. Center fielder for Texas. Here's the first pitch to Mike Mancini. There's a fastball for a strike inside corner. Also 20 walks in conference play for Mike Mancini. Is good for first in the conference. Batting .314 overall. The 0-1. There's a fastball, 93, misses low. Home plate umpire here today. Scott Kennedy calls the balls and strikes. At first base, it's James Ainsworth. At second base, Anthony Perez. And at third base, Michael Snover. Here's the 1-1. Mike swings and drives this one toward left center field. It is sinking, and it is caught by the center fielder, Bryce Fowler. Just hangs up a little bit too long for Mike Mancini. So 2 up, 2 down for Vanderbilt in the top of the first inning. Left versus right with Brody Johnston now. Vanderbilt's third baseman, the sophomore out of Ottawa. Here's the first pitch by Adams. That spot hit toward the left side. This is bobbled and dropped by the second baseman, Holtz. And Brody Johnston's down at first base. They had the shift on. Holt was right back up the middle behind the second base bag. Could not make the play on a hard hit ground ball. And Brody Johnston goes to first base for Holcomb.
Next up, left fielder, number 26, Brandon Holcomb.
0 for 4 yesterday for Holcomb. But Vanderbilt's left fielder has been one of the hottest hitters in black and gold over the past couple of weeks. So single for Johnston down at first base, left versus right. And from the stretch for Adams. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball misses low. 1 ball, no strikes. Looks like that clips off of Neal as well. And Neal needs a couple of seconds as Scott Kennedy walks a baseball out to Adams. Well, overcast skies, we will have on and off light rain showers throughout the course of the afternoon. The significant rain comes in a little bit later tonight, so tonight's game was bumped up to today. So 12:30 first pitch. Glad you could join us across the Vanderbilt Sports Network. 94.9 The Fan here in Nashville today. Of course, always streaming on the Vanderbilt Athletics app. Big game for Vanderbilt at 27-20 and 10-12 in conference play. 8 SEC games left for Vanderbilt as they try to pursue that 15 or 16 win mark. 1 ball, no strikes. And time is called as Adams started to move before Brandon Holcomb was ready. "13 home runs this season for Holcomb, 16 doubles. The 1-0. Breaking ball misses low. So 2 balls, no strikes on Holcomb. Those 16 doubles good for second most. Southeastern Conference has 62 hits, which is 6th most in the SEC. The 2-0. Breaking ball, it's a strike. Drops the curveball in. 2 balls, 1 strike. By the way, Brody Johnston down at first base up to 68 hits this season. That's second SEC. Here's the 2-1. There's a strike. Fastball outside corner. Count goes to 2-2. So Johnston down at first base. With Vanderbilt's first hit of the game versus Adams. With 2 down, the 2-2 on its way to Holcomb. Misses low. Good take, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Vanderbilt has seen Adams before. Started Game 3 versus Vanderbilt at Hawkins Field last season. Pitched well. 6 innings, 2 hits. Should say 2 runs. That pitch, called third, strike inside corner on the fastball. That finishes off Vanderbilt in the top of the first inning. They do get their first hit of the game. But we go bottom of the first inning scoreless. Vanderbilt versus Alabama. Back after this on the Vanderbilt Sports Network from their field.
Only a select few can call themselves Vandy Boys, a proud moniker that's earned through hard work, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment. It means that you're a Commodore for life, ever ready to anchor down. This Vanderbilt tradition is brought to you by Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks 49 years straight. Drive F-150, proud sponsor of the Commodores at your Tennessee Ford dealer, based on 1977 to 2025 total sales.
Vanderbilt Business offers degree and certificate programs designed to help you gain the knowledge, connections, and confidence to achieve your unique goals. We're committed to creating opportunities for you to discover, grow, and thrive at every stage of your career, whether you're just starting out or working your way to the C-suite. Let our dedicated staff and faculty help you take the next step in your professional journey. Visit vanderbiltbusiness.com/anchor down today. That's vanderbiltbusiness.com/anchor down.
Hey, this is Mike Yastrzemski, part of the 2011 College World Series team, and you're listening to Commodores Baseball on the Vanderbilt Sports Network.
Bottom of the first inning from Tuscaloosa as the Commodores and the Alabama Crimson Tide scoreless. Vanderbilt looking to force a rubber game. Wyatt Kopelman back inside the network studios. It's time for a quick look at what's to come in the SEC later today. 5th-ranked Georgia takes on Missouri at home at 5 o'clock. Bulldogs looking to extend their first-place lead in the conference ahead of Texas A&M by a half game. Over in Fayetteville, 22nd-ranked Arkansas tries to break a tie with Ole Miss for 6th place in the SEC as it hosts the Rebels. First pitch at 6 p.m. And 7th-ranked Texas A&M battles 8th-ranked Auburn at 8 p.m. Texas A&M goes for first place in the SEC, just a half game back of Georgia for that top spot. That's your tour around the SEC. Back out to Andrew Allegretto at Sewell Thomas Stadium. Andrew?
Wyatt, thank you so much as we go bottom of the first inning. Aiden Stillman, the pitcher for Vanderbilt here today. 2-up order for Alabama scoreless game. It's LeBron, Neal, and Fowler. Well, the 6'3" freshman out of Winter Park, Florida. Left-handed pitcher, 2 victories, 1 loss. A 3.86 ERA. So Stillman versus LeBron. Bottom of the first inning. Left versus right here for the freshman. He throws. There's a fastball that goes up and away, 93. Well, Justin LeBron, one of the best shortstops in the country. Perhaps a first-round MLB draft pick, batting .260 this season. The 1-0. Breaking ball, that's in there. It's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Has 12 home runs, 32 RBIs, and 35 stolen bases. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball spikes in front of home plate. 2 balls, 1 strike here for Stillman. At times it's been a difficult season for Justin LeBron, 0 for 3 yesterday. But again, he's always a threat. Here's the 2-1. Off the mitts of Corbin Reynolds, goes to the backstop of the fastball. 3 balls, 1 strike. And this key for the Alabama offense, from a Vanderbilt perspective, is to simply keep them off the bases. That is the tricky part. If you keep them off the bases, they're not a huge power team. They can hit home runs. That pitch is swung on. This one is cracked foul. But they've done a fantastic job this season manufacturing runs. They're fourth in the SEC in stolen bases with 77 of them. Of course, Vanderbilt did give up a couple of home runs yesterday. It tends to be a bit atypical for Alabama. The 3-1. That's swung on, hit toward the left side. Picked up by Riker. Steps, he throws as the stretch by Gooden. It's a 6-3 putouts. Out number one here for Alabama in the bottom of the first inning. Here's the catcher, Brady Neal. A senior from Tallahassee, Florida, transfer from LSU. Couple of seasons in this Alabama program. Again, 1 for 4 yesterday, left on left. First pitch. There's a breaking ball off the plate. Batting .353, 7 home runs, 40 RBIs for Neal. Infield, outfield, straight up. The 1-0. There's a fastball up and in. Check swing did not go as they check with Michael Snover at third base. Light crowd here today at what they call the Joe. Of course, this is graduation day on Alabama's campus, so the crowd a little bit thin. Overcast skies, temperatures in the 60s on a game that was moved up from 6 p.m. The 2-0. That's swung on and fouls it off. 2 balls, 1 strike on Neal. We're scoreless bottom of the first inning. Alabama took the victory in Game 1, 5-4 the final score. Two balls, 1 strike, 1 down. And Stillman throws. There's a fastball, pops the mitt for a strike. 94 for Stillman. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Neal. Vanderbilt puts the shift on as Brody Johnston goes right side of the infield. 15 strikeouts this season for Stillman. The 2-2. Who just missed off the plate. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Of course, Stillman coming off a fantastic performance versus Texas, 3 2/3, as he starts to build up his pitch count. The 3-2. That's swung on, fouls it off. Did not pitch all last fall and barely pitched here in the spring as he worked his way back from what Coach Corbin called a shoulder impingement. But ranked as the number 1 left-handed pitcher coming out of the state of Florida last season. Number 46 overall coming out of high school. The 3-2. That's swung on. This one is cracked toward left side of the infield. There's a pop-up for Riker Waite. The shortstop takes a couple of seconds, puts the mitt up, makes the catch. So there's 2 outs. Scoreless game, bottom of the second inning. That brings us to Bryce Fowler. Those crimson uniforms here today with a chrome crimson helmet. White pants with pinstripes. Vanderbilt goes with the all-black uniforms and gold pins here today. First pitch, left on left. It's a fastball outside corner. It's a strike. Of course, we've talked about the story a little bit with Aiden Stillman committed to Virginia under Coach O'Connor. But then as Coach O'Connor goes from Charlottesville to Starkville, Aiden Stillman opens up his recruitment again. There's a fastball that misses low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Academics very important for Stillman and his family. So Vanderbilt sort of rose to the top after that recruitment became open again. The 1-1. Breaking ball swung on and missed for Fowler. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down. Bases empty, scoreless game. Bottom of the first inning. Here's the 1-2. Fastball swung on, fouls it off, left field line. 0 for 3 yesterday for Fowler. A 6-foot redshirt senior out of Madison, Mississippi. The 1-2. Breaking ball is knocked down in the dirt by Corbin Reynolds. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Center fielder for Alabama batting .316, 5 home runs, 31 RBIs. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball swung on. This one is hit toward the left side. It's going to be a shift beater for Fowler. Just a bouncing ball to his striker. Weight goes and tracks it down. Here's Eric Hines for Alabama. 1 for 4 yesterday. Hit the 3-run home run off of Luke Goff. That tied the game up at 4 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Again, 6'3", a freshman from, he's a hometown kid, Tuscaloosa. Pickoff move back to first base, checks on Fowler. Has 14 stolen bases this season. He's been caught stealing twice. So for Vanderbilt, Gooden holds on Fowler at first base. Shift is on versus Hines. Pickoff move back to first. No tag from Gooden. No breeze here today at Sewell Thomas Stadium. Again, temperatures in the 60s. Overcast skies. Graduation day on Alabama's campus. Here's the pitch. That spun hit hard towards right center field. Brigden is at the track at the fence. He is going to leap, and it is gone. So Alabama opens up the scoring, a 2-run shot for Hines. Second consecutive day for a home run by the left fielder for the Tide. Basically the same spot versus Guff and Stillman. Alabama 2, Vanderbilt nothing, bottom of the first inning. That brings us to John Lim. Hero from last night, left versus left. Here's the pitch. There's a fastball outside corner. 1 ball, no strikes. And of course, as I talk about the fact that they can hit home runs, but it's not been their MO. Now, so far, there's 3 pretty significant home runs here this weekend for Bama. There's a fastball inside corner. Count goes to 1-1. Now, 2 for 4 yesterday for Lim. Fell victim to the hidden ball trick in the 5th inning, but walks off Vanderbilt in the 9th. That one is swung on, and this one is cranked towards right field. This is gone. It's a Soto shot. Well, the 2 guys that got Vanderbilt yesterday get Vanderbilt in the bottom of the first inning today. The 6th home run of the season for Hines. And for Lim, his 8th home run of the season. And time is called here by Corbin Reynolds. That brings us to Torres. Well, 22 pitches for Stillman. It's a 3-0 Alabama game. Big deep breath for number 30, Aiden Stillman, as he faces off against Torres, the third baseman, out of Hialeah, Florida. Same hometown as Enrique Bradfield Jr. So 2 outs, base is empty. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, fastball. No balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. That goes up and in. Fastball that time. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Count goes to 1-2. As Scott Kennedy turns around and tells the scoreboard that the count is not in fact 2-3. So Bama 3, Vanderbilt nothing. Bottom of the first inning. Here's the pitch. That's swung on, popped up foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Torres. Left versus right. Stands at 6'1". Back-to-back home runs for Alabama here in the bottom of the first inning. After Stillman got the first 2 outs. The 1-2. Off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Changeup. Count goes to 2-2 on Torres. And from the stretch here for the freshman. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Fastball, 94, right past Torres. We'll step aside, come back in just a couple of seconds. Vanderbilt with some work to do. They trail 3-0 as we go top of the second inning. Back in just a couple of seconds after this on the Vanderbilt Sports Network from their field.
Yeah, it's another day, but what kind of day is it really? A day of doom scrolling? Laundry day? Nah, it's a White Claw day. Because all that can wait. Your friends shouldn't. There are good stories to be made. So grab a pack, grab your friends. Make the most of each day with those who matter most. When you're together with White Claw, every day is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You just gotta grab it. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois.
At First Bank, we've always been Vandy fans. And as the official bank of Vanderbilt Athletics, we're also teammates helping cheer on the Doors together. We're proud to add Commodore Pride to your wallet with our official Vanderbilt debit cards. Anchor down when you pay with Vanderbilt debit cards from First Bank. When 2 historic Tennessee teams join together, you get even more ways to bank on the Doors. Bank local, get more. First Bank, member FDIC.
Hey, this is Nate Bargatze, and you're listening to Commodores Baseball on the Vanderbilt Sports Network from Learfield.
27 outs! Vandy wins it!
Go Doors!
Welcome back as we go top of the second inning. Vanderbilt trails 3-0 versus Alabama. Andrew Allegretti here in the booth. So glad you could join us. Vanderbilt Athletics would like to thank the local 615 partners for their continued supports. Let's do our part in supporting those who support Vandy and shop local. Plus, don't forget to check out Commodore Hour every Monday night, 6 p.m. on the Vanderbilt Sports Network from their field. Coach Corpin, our guest these days, always available on the Anchor podcast the next day. To up order for Vanderbilt, it's left versus left. It's Adams versus Logan Johnstone. He'll be followed by Barzy and Preston Rigdon. Open stance left side for Johnstone. First pitch by Adams. There's a breaking ball. Drops in for a strike. Curveball. No balls, 1 strike. Fastball, changeup, slider, and a curveball for Zane Adams. The 0-1. Breaking ball is off the plate. Slider that time. 1 ball, 1 strike. 0 for 3 for Logan Johnstone in Game 1 versus Alabama. We'll see what he can do in his first at-bat here. The 1-1. That's swung on. There's a ground ball back up the middle. It's a base hit here for Johnstone. So, second hit for Vanderbilt. The first one from Brody Johnston, the second one from Johnstone. And Vanderbilt has the leadoff base runner down at first base for Barzy.
Next up for bat, designated hitter, number 44, Colin Barzy.
1 for 4 yesterday for Barzy. Vanderbilt's DH at 6'3". The junior out of Naperville, Illinois. Hit his 9th home run of the season. Left versus right. Here's the pitch. There's a fastball for a strike inside corner. No balls, one strike. Fastball 93. Again, pitched versus Vanderbilt a season ago, Game 3. That famous Holcomb walk-off game. But he was good. 6 innings, 5 hits, and 2 runs. The 0-1. Barzy takes low as it scoots across the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Had 5 strikeouts in that game as well. Has 1 strikeout so far here today. That came versus Holcomb. The 1-1. There's a changeup outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's a little bit like the Devin Futrell changeup. It does not have a huge amount of movement on it, but the changeup velocity is significant enough that it keeps hitters off balance. The 1-2. There's a fastball up and away. So fastball 94 and changeup at 79 so far today for Adams. Two balls, 2 strikes here on Barzy. Johnstone's at first base. Vanderbilt trails by 3. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball. Barzy strikes out. Here's Rustin Rigdon. Vanderbilt 6-foot sophomore out of Metter, Georgia, just outside of Savannah. First pitch. There's a fastball for a strike. Outside corner. No balls, 1 strike. Left-handed pitcher for Alabama out of Porter, Texas. 6'4" junior. Was a difficult last time out for Zane Adams on the road versus Tennessee. The 0-1. That spot hit toward the right side. It's a base hit here for Rigdon. Johnstone goes to second base. There's a back throw to second base, and Johnstone is safe as he dives back to the bag. And Justin LeBron puts the tag on. That brings us to Tommy Gooden. Left versus left, Vanderbilt trails 3-0. They do have 3 hits so far versus the starter, St. Adams. 1 for 3 yesterday for Gooden, his 11th home run of the season. First pitch, it's a fastball, outside part of the plate. No balls, 1 strike. Home run yesterday for Gooden. About 415 feet, he just cracked it to right field. The 0-1. Breaking ball outside. That's the slider. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runners at first and second for Vanderbilt, top of the 2nd inning. Here's the pitch. That runs inside, skips off the dirt. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 down. Yeah, versus Tennessee for Adams. It was 5 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, 4 strikeouts, 4 walks. No walks so far versus Vanderbilt, 2 strikeouts. The 2-1. Misses low. Has the changeup, 3 balls, 1 strike. Adams is a good one, though, part of the 2024 SEC All-Freshman team. The 3-1. Breaking ball, ball 4, bases are loaded. That brings us to Corbin Reynolds with 1 down.
Now batting the pitcher, number 18, Corbin Reynolds.
So Johnstone's at third base. Rigdon's at second base. Gooden is at first base. At the plate, the 9-spot hitter, Corbin Reynolds. Left versus right, first pitch. Misses high. Changeup. 1 ball, no strikes. The groans start to grow from the crowd here at Sewell Thomas Stadium. At home plate umpire Scott Kennedy. 1 ball, no strikes. from the stretch. Adams throws. Misses low. 2 balls, no strikes. And Coach Corbin says pick a selective spot in that zone. Gives number 18 for Vanderbilt, Reynolds, a little bit of a sign. As the freshman stands back in, bases loaded situation, Vanderbilt trails by 3. The 2-0. Inside, did it get him? Or a foul tip? What's the call? Scott Kennedy pointed to his hands. So I guess it clips off the bat of Corbin Reynolds for a strike. He tried to check his swing. I guess it just clips off the tail end of the bat. 2 balls, 1 strike. The 2-1. Swing and a miss, changeup. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 down, bases loaded situation. On deck for Vanderbilt as Riker waits, as Corbin Reynolds takes a deep breath. Vandy trails by 3. But a great chance to punch back top of the second. He throws. That's swung on. There's a high pop-up left field side. This one is drifting foul territory, out of play. That was the changeup that time from Adams. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 down. Base hit for Johnstone. Base hit for Rigdon. Walk to Gooden. Well, first chance for Vanderbilt with runners in scoring position here today. It falls in the lap of the freshman from Clarksville. Here's the 2-2. Struck him out. Here's Riker.
Shortstop, number 51, Riker Wade.
It's too early to be a must-have situation in any ball game. But this is a weighted at-bat for Vanderbilt shortstop Riker Wade. 0 for 1 so far. Bases loaded, 2 down. First pitch. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball. Our score 3-0. Bases loaded for Vanderbilt. Adams just got Reynolds to strike out. Riker has been one of Vanderbilt's hottest hitters the past couple of games. The 0-1. That's swung on and bounced foul toward Alabama's dugout. No balls, 2 strikes, and Riker has to battle. Johnstone's at third base. Rigdon's at second. Gooden is at first base. Left versus right here for Riker. The sophomore out of Arizona. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Adams throws. That's swung on and fouled off. Got him the fastball. 94. And Riker fouls it off right field side. Again, 2 for 4 yesterday for Riker Wade. Picked up a double. Has 33 RBIs this season for Vanderbilt. The 0-2. That's swung on, bounced foul. Big looping breaking ball, curveball that time. Riker fights it off. An early battle for Vanderbilt, trailing by 3, but a sizable one. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Adams throws. That's swung on, bouncing ball toward third. It's gonna go foul. Just too much spin for Riker. Boy, if that stays fair, he's going to be safe. That was going to be a forever throw for Torres, the third baseman, behind the bag. But it just skips about 5 feet foul. No balls, 2 strikes. The 0-2. That swung on, fouls it off here for Riker. Got the fastball, 94. Again, base hit for Johnstone. Base hit for Rigdon. Walk for Gooden. Inning and 2/3 for Adams. 3 hits, no runs. 3 strikeouts, 1 walk. With 2 down. The pitch. Misses low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The slider. Adam takes a second. Wipes his glove on his jersey. And from the stretch. The 1-2. Outside, it's knocked down by Neal, the catcher. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Back-to-back breaking balls. Count goes to 2-2 on Riker. Bases are loaded. Vanderbilt trails 3-0, top 2. The 2-2. Misses low, ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes. We go full. Riker settles in, right side. The lefty for Alabama. Looks at Neal. The payoff pitch. Called third strike. And Riker says no. Just shakes his head at Scott Kennedy, says no. And Adams gets out of the bases loaded jam. Well, for the second consecutive frame, Adams finishes off a Vanderbilt hitter with a fastball for a called third strike. We'll step aside, come back in just a couple of seconds. We go bottom 2, Vanderbilt trails 3-0. Back after this on the Vanderbilt Sports Network from their field.
Hey, Commodore fans, the Holiday Inn West End Vanderbilt is your headquarters for week-long entertainment. Stop by the Commodore Grill and enjoy live music from some of Nashville's best songwriters from 6 to 10 p.m., 7 nights a week. Grab a cup of Bongo Java from our coffee bar Brew to start your morning. Brew is in the main lobby. The Holiday Inn West End Vanderbilt, just walking distance from the stadium. The game starts here.
Some things about baseball are difficult. Why does a knuckleball do all those crazy things? That can be complicated. Well, here's something that's easy. Fans of the Vandy Boys love chowing down on Tex-Mex out on the deck at San Antonio Taco Company. Tasty food, the freshest ingredients, fast service, and of course, that world-famous chili con queso. It's all pretty simple, really. Coach Corbin and the Vandy Boys are loved, and so is the Tex-Mex at San Antonio Taco Company. Easy to find on 21st Avenue South and online at thesatco.com. Before and after the game, you gotta go to Satco.
Hey, this is Jonathan Vastine, 2-time SEC champion.
A right field bomb here for Jonathan Vastine in the home run trot.
And you're listening to Vanderbilt Baseball.
Welcome back as we go bottom of the second inning. Our score, Alabama 3, Vanderbilt nothing. Coors Light Mountain Cold Refreshment. Choose chill. Proud supporter of Vanderbilt Athletics. Celebrate responsibly. The dual border here for Alabama versus Aiden Stillman. It's Vaughn, Steele, and Holt, 7, 8, 9, part of the order. A 6'2" junior out of Cincinnati, unrelated to the head coach Rob Vaughn. First pitch hit toward the right side. Here's Mike Mancini, gathers, shuffles, sidearm throw, 4-3. There's the first out, 1 pitch for Stillman. Here's Peyton Steele, a 6'1" sophomore from Decatur, Alabama. Bases empty, 1 down. Vanderbilt trails by 3. Rob Vaughn, head coach for Alabama, 3rd season. 104 victories here in Tuscaloosa. First pitch, fastball, misses low. Left versus right, 1 ball, no strikes. A 2-time Big Ten Coach of the Year at Maryland back in 2022 and 2023. The 1-0. That goes off the plate. 2 balls, 1 strike. Of course, Vanderbilt took down Maryland in 2023 in Minnesota on a walk-off sacrifice fly. The 2-0. That's swung on, fouled straight back. So 2 balls, 1 strike here for Stillman versus Steele. Right fielder for Alabama, but a great coach for Alabama in his 3rd season here in Tuscaloosa. As this team positioned to possibly host a regional here in Tuscaloosa. Breaking ball goes up and in a fantastic RPI top 10. They've got about just as many quad one victories as anybody in the country. The 3-1. That's swung on, foul tipped. Despite the fact that Alabama is 11-11 in conference play, they've got 30 victories, and they are positioned to possibly host, ranked number 24 in the country. SEC standings, you've got Georgia first place 15-6. You've got A&M second place 14-6. Texas third place 13-7. Here's the 3-2 with one down, bases empty. Fastball called, third strike inside corner. That brings us to Brennan Holt. A 5'9" graduate student out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Rob Vaughn, a former player at Kansas State from 2006 to 2009. An assistant coach at Maryland for a couple of years under John Sheff. And then when John Sheff went from Maryland to Virginia Tech, Rob Vaughn got the head coaching position. Got a handful of coaches in College Park, Maryland that have gone on to do good things. You've got, of course, Eric Bakich, our old friend, who goes on to Michigan and then Clemson. John Sheff goes from Maryland to Virginia Tech, and, of course, Rob Vaughn from College Park to Tuscaloosa. Time was called by Vaughn. Slows down this frame a little bit after that long frame in the top of the second inning, despite the fact that Vanderbilt did not get a run. A taxing frame for St. Adams, so Rob Vaughn slows things down bottom of the second. 0 for 3 yesterday, left versus left. Really crowds the plate here for Bama. First pitch. Fastball misses off the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. Defense for Vanderbilt in those black uniforms, gold pins. Johnston's at third base, Stryker's the shortstop, Mancini's at second base, and Gooden's at first base. Kind of covers the line at first. Fastball swung on, foul tip, and it goes off of Scott Kennedy, and he goes down. Goodness gracious. Does start to move. He went down. Oh, goodness. He has started to move. Moved his left arm, picked up his left knee, but lays on his back with Chris Matarazzo, athletic trainer Jack Linforth for Vanderbilt, as well as the athletic training staff for Alabama. We're going to pause. We'll step aside for just a second, catch our breath. We're going to come back and check on Scott Kennedy. A foul tip from Brady Neal, wherever it happened to catch him, was significant enough to send Scott Kennedy down. Catch our breath. Back in just a couple of seconds. Alabama 3, Vanderbilt nothing in the bottom of the second. Back after this on the Vanderbilt Sports Network from Learfield.
At First Bank, we've always been Vandy fans, and as the official bank of Vanderbilt Athletics, we're also teammates helping cheer on the doors together. We're proud to add Commodore Pride to your wallet with our official Vanderbilt debit cards. Anchor down when you pay with Vanderbilt debit cards from First Bank. When 2 historic Tennessee teams join together, you get even more ways to bank on the doors. Bank local, get more. First Bank, member FDIC.
What sets the Omni Nashville Hotel apart from the rest? A unique cultural connection, sharing 4 levels with the expanded Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum and adjacent to the Music City Center. The Omni Nashville Hotel is just steps from a unique mix of retail, restaurants, and entertainment venues along vibrant Rep. John Lewis Way South. When you're done exploring downtown, retreat back to the Omni Nashville Hotel and enjoy 5 on-site culinary venues and the signature Mocara Spa. Get ready, Nashville. This is a Music City favorite like nothing you've ever experienced before.
Hey, this is Dominic Keegan, part of the 2019 and 2021 College World Series teams, and you're listening to Commodore Baseball on the Vanderbilt Sports Network.
Vanderbilt's behind Alabama 3-0. middle game of a 3-game SEC weekend series in Tuscaloosa. Wyatt Copeland back inside the network studios. Time to get you a quick update around the other 6 games to come in the SEC later today. 5th-ranked Georgia hosts Missouri at 5 o'clock over at Foley Field. Georgia with a big weekend coming up. It's a 15-6 SEC program at 35-11 on the season, looking to keep a lead for first place in the conference, just a half game ahead of Texas A&M. Meanwhile, Missouri is 4-17 in the SEC. Tennessee visits Kentucky over at 5:30 p.m. Kentucky taking on Tennessee, looking to get in the mix for a double bye in the SEC tournament. Meanwhile, Tennessee at 10-11 in the SEC. Ole Miss and Arkansas face off in a ranked SEC series starting tonight over in Fayetteville, Arkansas. 22nd ranked team in the country, 11-10 in the SEC, trying to break a tie with the Ole Miss Rebels for 6th place in the conference. Ole Miss also 11-10 in SEC play at 17th in the country. 4th-ranked Texas hosts 10th-ranked Mississippi State. Texas is 13-7 in the SEC. Mississippi State is 13-8 in the conference. From Norman later today at 6:30 p.m., 15th-ranked Oklahoma takes on 25th-ranked Florida. Both teams are 11-10 in SEC play. And the last one tonight is 7th-ranked Texas A&M hosting 8th-ranked Auburn at 7 o'clock over in College Station. Texas A&M just a half game behind Georgia for first place in the conference. Meanwhile, Auburn is 12-9 in conference play and 30-13 overall. That's a look at what's to come in the SEC today. Let's get it back out to Tuscaloosa, where Andrew Allegretta takes us through the early innings. Andrew?
Wyatt, thank you so much. We're checking out a scary situation with Scott Kennedy, today's home plate umpire. He has moved to a seated position, so let's start there. That is very, very good. It is definitely a concerned field, but in terms of panicked movement, there is none. It is concerned, but not panicked on the field. So Scott Kennedy took a fastball. Whether he caught it flush to the mask or if there was a slight tip from Brady Neal, either way, he caught it flush toward the mask. Now he's to his feet with the help of the athletic training staff from both Alabama and Vanderbilt. And he went down. No other way to say it. Just took it off the mask, staggered for a moment, and fell backward directly. He's trying to catch his breath, kind of shakes his head. You know, that's the scary stuff in baseball. Stuff like this doesn't happen a ton. I don't think I've ever seen an umpire go down quite like this. Does get some water here from Alabama's dugout. And talks a little bit with some of his fellow umpires. He's got Rob Vaughn to his left. He's got Tim Corbin to his right. He's got the athletic training staff from Alabama behind him. I guess the question starts to become, first off, making sure that Scott Kennedy is okay. And they will slowly walk him off the field. Based on that reaction, it was going to be awfully surprising if Scott Kennedy stayed in today's game. First off, focus on his health, and the fact that he is up and walking under his own power is wonderful. We're going to have to get the home plate umpire situation taken care of. The other three, you've got Michael Snover at third base, Anthony Perez at second base, James Ainsworth at first base. I believe they'll go to a three-man crew. In Hoover, there is a backup umpire. I believe here we go to a three-man crew. But again, a fastball from Stillman. Not sure if it perhaps ticked off the bats of Brady Neal or just a swing and a miss from Neal. And it caught Scott Kennedy on the face mask and just went down. Took a step back, staggered, and fell. And stayed down on his back, quite frankly, sprawled out like a starfish for a couple of minutes. Really scary. And so thankful that he's to his feet, walked off toward Vanderbilt's dugouts, and he'll get the proper medical attention that he needs. We'll try to get exactly sorted out who is where from the umpire situation in just a minute. Well, that has hit pause on today's game for sure. Our score 3-0 Alabama. A pair of home runs back in the bottom of the first inning. A 2-run shot by Hines, a solo shot by Lim. Vanderbilt got the bases loaded but could not score in the top of the second inning, as Aiden Stillman tries to take a couple of warm-ups throws to keep that left arm of his loose enough to keep going under overcast skies here from Tuscaloosa. Andrew Allegretti here in the booth. Wyatt Koppelman back inside our network studios. This is game 2 of a 3-game set. Vanderbilt versus Alabama. A heartbreaker yesterday for Vanderbilt. 5-4 was the final score. And some of that karmic energy from a season ago has come back to haunt Vanderbilt in 2026. Walk-off home run for the second time in 3 SEC weekends in game 1. A walk-off grand slam on the road versus Kentucky. Walk-off home run for Alabama. And both teams, of course, Vanderbilt's clipped a season ago with walk-off home runs twice for Kentucky, once for Alabama. And they get a slice of revenge here in 26. But Vanderbilt trails by 3 here in this bottom of the second inning, as we adjust our umpire situation after Scott Kennedy gets hit by a pitch and has to leave today's game. Let's step aside, come back in just a second one more time. We'll see if we can gather exactly who's going to be where as far as the umpires are concerned. But again, first and foremost, look, it happens every now and then. In sports, we get these scary situations. We love the competition, the energy, the passion of sports. But very passionate people put themselves in harm's way at times. And there's a fastball that got past Brady Neal from Aiden Stillman that got past Corbin Reynolds. And I think caught as one of our umpires down there is kind of pointing right to his face. It just happened to catch Scott Kennedy and focus on that first. We'll step aside, come back in just a couple of seconds to Tuscaloosa one more time and see if we can figure out what the story is in terms of the umpires. We'll get this game going again in just a couple of seconds. But Vanderbilt trails 3-0. Bottom of the second, 2 outs. Neal's at the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike. Vanderbilt trails. Back after this on the Vanderbilt Sports Network from Learfield.
Only a select few can call themselves Vandy Boys, a proud moniker that's earned through hard work, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment. It means that you're a Commodore for life, ever ready to anchor down. This Vanderbilt tradition is brought to you by Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks 49 years straight. Drive F-150, proud sponsor of the Commodores at your Tennessee Ford dealer, based on 1977 to 2025 total sales.
Yeah, it's another day, but what kind of day is it really? A day of doom scrolling? Laundry day? Nah, it's a White Claw day. Because all that can wait. Your friends shouldn't. There are good stories to be made. So grab a pack, grab your friends. Make the most of each day with those who matter most. When you're together with White Claw, every day is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You just gotta grab it. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois.
What's up, Commodore Nation? This is Will Toffee, part of the 2015 World Series team.
A towering 2-run try by Will Toffee.
And you're listening to Vanderbilt Baseball on the Vanderbilt Sports Network.
Well, still waiting for our new home plate umpire. Okay, so here are 2 outs. Bottom of the second inning. The 1-1. There's a fastball for a strike inside corner. No balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs on Brennan Holtz. So I said Neal, excuse me, Holtz at the plate. That goes up and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Flip-flopped my 5'10" left-handed hitters for Alabama. Regardless, the 2-2 with 2 down. Breaking ball, call, third strike, outside corner. That finishes off the bottom of the second inning. We'll step aside, come back in just a couple of seconds. We'll see if Vanderbilt can start to generate some offense versus St. Adams. Got the bases loaded back in the second. We'll see if they can punch through in the third. They trail 3-0. Back after this on the Vanderbilt Sports Network from their field.
Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. It's got that crisp, refreshing taste that makes every moment cheering on your team even better. Plus, the mountains on the bottles and cans turn blue when your beer is Rocky Mountain cold. So you never have to guess if your Coors Light is ready to drink. So crack one open, take a sip, and enjoy the game. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly.
No matter how you slice it, Nashville's favorite pizza is 5 Points Pizza. 5 Points Pizza is open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner in East and West Nashville with delicious weekday lunch and happy hour specials. Enjoy the lunch special combos of slices, salads, or garlic knots for as little as $11 on weekdays between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. Can't enjoy hot pizza without a cold beer? Stop by between 2 and 6 p.m. on weekdays for any slice and any draft for just $8. To order, visit 5pointspizza.com.
What's going on, Commodore Nation? This is the 2013 SEC Player of the Year, Tony Kemp.
Sensational play by Tony Kemp.
And you are listening to Vanderbilt Baseball on the Vanderbilt Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome back as we go top of the third inning. Handcrafted pies, fresh ingredients and bold flavor in every slice. 5 Points Pizza, proud supporter of Vanderbilt Baseball Plus. Once again, coming up in just over a week, the Eagles present the Long Goodbye Act 3 live in concert in Nashville at First Bank Stadium, right on Vanderbilt's campus, May 9th. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The Eagles, the Long Goodbye Act 3. Vanderbilt trails by 3-0 here in the third. Mike Mancini to lead things off left versus lefts with St. Adams.
Leading off the top of the third inning, second baseman, number 5, Mike Mancini.
No runs, 3 hits for Vanderbilt versus Adams. First pitch, breaking ball. It's in their first strike. Well, the secondary stuff, once you kind of make sure that Scott Kennedy is okay and start with that, these hitters and pitchers will have to adjust to a new strike zone. There's a breaking ball that spikes in front of home plate. 1 ball, 1 strike is Anthony Perez. Goes from second base to home plate, with Snoper at third, Ainsworth at first base. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. That's the changeup. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Shift is on Mike Mancini. Again, this changeup for Adams is his best pitch. Upper 70s, low 80s after a fastball 93. Very much like Devin Futrell's changeup. Not a ton of movement, but just pulls the string. The 1-2. Misses off the plate. Slider. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Shift is on here for Mike Mancini, as Torres goes right side of the infield. The second baseman Holt plays back in right field. The 2-2. That swung on, hit hard towards center field, but playable for Fowler. Makes the catch right on his shoulder. There's the first out for Vanderbilt top. Bill Cannon. It's Corbin Reynolds. What a toss to second base. 2 outs.
And a little fist pump there from Corbin Reynolds. He said yesterday, Andrew, after he almost threw him out, he said, I'm going to get him this weekend. I'm going to get him. And boy, he sure did. That was a pretty good jump, too. Just a great throw by Corbin Reynolds.
No balls, 2 strikes. Good fastball, 2 for Cyber. Here's the pitch. That's swung on, bounced foul.
The Corbin Cannon. I'm surprised that hasn't gotten more legs yet. The Corbin Cannon?
It depends on what you want. Corbin Cannon. I like Clarksville Cannon. I think that sounds a little bit more fun to me, but swung on and missed. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and certainly it's a cannon for Corbin Reynolds behind home plates. JM.
Andrew, thanks for having me as always.
As always. Let's finish this one off. Let's get some runs. Let's make it interesting as we go top of the 8th inning. 5-0. Vanderbilt versus Bama. Back after this on the Vanderbilt Sports Network from their field.
Only a select few can call themselves Vandy Boys, a proud moniker that's earned through hard work, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment. It means that you're a Commodore for life, ever ready to anchor down. This Vanderbilt tradition is brought to you by Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks 49 years straight. Drive F-150, proud sponsor of the Commodores at your Tennessee Ford dealer, based on 1977 to 2025 total sales.
Vanderbilt Business offers degree and certificate programs designed to help you gain the knowledge, connections, and confidence to achieve your unique goals. We're committed to creating opportunities for you to discover, grow, and thrive at every stage of your career. Whether you're just starting out or working your way to the C-suite, let our dedicated staff and faculty help you take the next step in your professional journey. Visit vanderbiltbusiness.com/anchor down today. That's vanderbiltbusiness.com/anchor down.
Hey, this is Mike Yastrzemski, part of the 2011 College World Series team, and you're listening to Commodores Baseball on the Vanderbilt Sports Network.
12-4 Vanderbilt, top of the 8th inning. Logan, Johnstone, Barzy, and Brigden. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Vanderbilt Sports Network from their field. So Logan Johnstone 3 for 3 here today. All singles for Vanderbilt right fielder, batting .293 this season. He'll face off against Ashton Crowther, .216 ERA, 18 strikeouts, 6 walks, 25 innings pitched this season. 2 victories, 2 losses, 1 save for Crowther, transfer from South Carolina. Left on left, Vanderbilt trails 5-0. First pitch, top 8. Breaking ball, first strike outside corner, no balls, 1 strike. Well, defense for Alabama in those crimson uniforms here today. Torres, the third baseman, LeBron. The shortstop, Holtz at second. Vaughn is at first base. The catcher is Neal. The 0-1. Breaking ball is off the plate. Left field, Hines. Center field, Fowler. Right field, Steele. Again, this is the 5-6-7 part of the order for Vanderbilt. They dropped last night's game 5-4. Trail 5-0. Top of the 8th inning. The 1-1. There's a strike outside corner, breaking ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2. Fouls it off, breaking ball. Good job by Johnstone to stay alive. Here's the 1-2. Fouls it off. Fastball 87. Big deep breath for number 2 for Vanderbilt. Top of the 8th inning. Base is empty. The 1-2. That spot hit toward the right side. Diving play by Holtz. Makes the catch.
Base hitting for Vanderbilt, number 8, Chris Maldonado.